Hello, sleepers. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Dune Awakening content. So, yesterday we had a long awaited developer update live stream. It's been a while since we had one of these, frankly. Gosh, I don't even know how long it's been, over a month. But it was very welcome to have this again, as they had announced about 3, 4, 5 days ago that they were going to do this. And then they were also have announced that they were going to start doing more development update live streams and then kind of like a fireside chat. They called it a siege talk, where they just kind of hang out and talk about whatever they want and don't really have a certain content plan in mind. They're just kind of interacting with what is hot in the community, maybe possibly interact with the chat, answer some questions, and that kind of thing. But yesterday was the development update live stream that went over Chapter 2 and Lost Harvest DLC. We had Natasha, the senior PR manager, Ole Andrus, the production director, and Nils, the narrative producer. They were the ones that were part of this development live stream yesterday. Now, they basically just went over what happened at Gamescom. They talked about that quite a bit because I guess they had a very successful Gamescom, because they showed off a lot of videos of a lot of people playing their game. A lot of press got involved with a lot of interviews with the team, and there was a lot of good media content coverage that came out of that event. There was not really any big reveals other than the Chapter 2 and Lost Harvest DLC, which we kind of already knew about, but that's where they really, let loose on that information. There was, just like I was saying, a lot of other things that were going on for the people to actually interact with the game. The live stream went over the Lost Harvest DLC and the Chapter 2 information kind of in a little bit more detail, but it was hard for them to really discuss too much about it because a lot of both of these updates that are coming revolve around additions to the story. So it was hard for them to really go into detail about what was coming, because obviously they didn't want to spoil anything. They didn't want to create spoilers as far as how the season 2 DLC interacts with the first story arc that we had with the release of the game. Some people may not be through that completely yet, and that was a very good one. I loved that. The way it ended was kind of a cliffhanger, and kind of aggravating, but it was cool at the same time. Then season 2 will, let me go back to season 2 actually, because that's what I'm talking about. Season 2 will have the story continues, and they couldn't really talk about it, like I said, because they didn't want to give any spoilers, but they're going to allow us to delve deeper into the nature of your origin. You are the sleeper, after all, remember, and unravel a web that stretches into the darkest corners of the Imperium. So it's going to continue on with that plot of, there's some murders happening. You're going to have to try to figure out who's doing it, what's going on, and a lot of the other stuff. And it continues on that main storyline. And that was a very, very interesting storyline. If you haven't engaged with it, I would suggest you do, because it's really good. I really liked it a lot. So I can give it 2 thumbs up. I'm not gonna spoil anything because, yeah, I hate that when that happens. So I really don't want to do that to anybody. But I'm just gonna say the main storyline is very good. The PVE experience in this game was by far one of the best PVE experiences I've ever had in any MMO to date. I've played a lot of MMOs over my years, over 30 years in the space as a gamer, as a content creator, as a press agent, as contractor for companies like BioWare and stuff like that. So I get it, as far as what is a good experience, in my opinion, honestly. And I think that Dune Awakening's PVE experience is one of the best that I've ever had. So I'll just put that out there, and that's opinion, so take it for what you will. But anyway, with the Chapter 2 free update, We are going to get 5 new armor sets that represent each skill tree, and you can kind of see the Bene Gesserit here, the Planetologist, and it's really cool looking. Really like them a lot, and I'm glad that we're going to get that. I'm not really sure where you're going to get these at. I don't know if you're going to have to go back to the skill trainer that you initially got the last part of your quest from and see if possibly you pick them up there. But like with the Swordmaster quest line, if you've done that one to the end, that may be kind of a problem. I don't know how you would do that, but I'm not going to spoil that either. But anyway, yeah. Um, Maybe they're just in your inventory somewhere. I don't know. When the update drops, maybe we'll just get them as a drop in our inventory, or collect your loot type button or something like that. They did say that these updates will be happening on the 9th now. They made that announcement in the live stream. This was scheduled to drop on the 10th. And if you took some time off for work from that, for that, and now it's going to drop a day ahead of time, I'm sorry. I feel your pain. I did the same thing, so it's kind of frustrating, but one day, why did we have to push it up one day? I really, I don't get that. A lot of us took the day off from work, and we can't just go back and say, whoops, I made a mistake. Can I swap that? Because, yeah, anyway, I don't know why we had to push it up one day, but they did. So it's going to be releasing on the 9th now. So pay attention to that, because that's a change in the drop of when this content's going to happen. As the Chapter 2 free update hits, we're going to get our character recustomization, and they went into some detail showing that. They showed the Suit Doctors and the Bene Teliacs and how they have methods to reshape your flesh. Find them in Harko Village and Arrakis. So in the social hubs, on like Arrakis, they displayed the one in Arrakis, and it was up on the second level of Arrakis. There was a new, kind of like a new store added to one of the chambers that were already there, and you can see the little icon of the blue face floating around in holographic form that lets you know that that's where you go to do your customization, and you speak to a person in there and they let you change your options. There's some new hairstyles, there's some new tattoos, and you can see them kind of over here. We're looking at some of the new hairstyles and tattoo options that are there. So that's really cool. I think a lot of people are gonna, take part in that. I'm personally kind of sad because I was kind of hoping for a really big mohawk or maybe a fro or something like that. I was kind of really wanting a big old fro or a big old mohawk. I love to roll those in games in the past. It's just kind of unique looking, and I really like to look unique in my customization options. And I didn't see where that was going to be a thing, so I'm kind of sad about that. But I may go ahead and check out some of the options anyway, even though I'm pretty pleased with the look of my character as he is right now. Then we're going to get more dynamic encounters. They talked about that in the live stream. They talk about new surprises wait in the desert. So when you see these encampments out there in the desert, there's going to be some different types and some new styles of these more dynamic encounters. I was kind of hoping for some kind of a roaming world boss type thing, but I don't know. They didn't really mention anything like that. There was some ambiguity about some of the features that were coming, and they said that there was going to be some new types of things going on that they couldn't really go into detail with yet because they didn't want to spoil it before the update dropped. So hopefully there's going to be something like that to where we can do like a roaming world boss. That would be super cool. Games like ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, really do that well with the world boss dragons, and people make whole circuits where they just run from one to the other all day long and get super good loot and have a good time and have fun running with groups that are there to kill world bosses. So I really hope they do something like that, but they did not say they would, so I've just kind of, got fingers crossed on that one. They're going to add new contracts. New missions await in Harko Village and Arrakis, so there's going to be new contracts that are added, and I imagine that they're going to tie in with the new story, kind of, type of thing to where they're going to be relevant to what's going on in the new story. So that's super super cool. So that's the chapter 2 free update that's coming. Everybody that plays the game and owns the game will get this. So that's really super cool. Then let's talk about the Lost Harvest DLC. It's included in the season pass, or if you bought one of the pre-release editions that included all the DLCs, you will get this. But this is a paid expansion. Only people that pay for it are going to get this, and that includes things like the new vehicle, the treadwheel. Now, a lot of people in the comments were kind of poo-pooing and throwing fits about this item because they're like, oh, here we go with the pay to win stuff, blah, blah, blah. They showed off the mechanics of the treadwheel and how it traverses the world and how fun it is to kind of do the spins and roll in reverse. And it's kind of like a zero turn mower in a way. It's what it reminds me of, because you can do your left right wheels and spin around and then roll in reverse, go forward. It catches decent air as far as ramping whenever you hit a dune, and it looks like it goes pretty fast. They are saying, and they made a couple of different, statements about this is not pay to win. This is just another vehicle, just like the sand bike type category. It's not going to enhance your game and make you elite by having it just by purchasing it. Some people still aren't feeling it, though. They're not very happy about this vehicle being allowed in the paid DLC and not for free. They did make the statement, however, though, if you have a friend that has this content, they can put your permissions on their vehicle to where you can drive it. So you could actually interact with it even if you don't own the content. And then there will be ways that you can buy it on the market and that kind of thing. So I'm not really sure, if you don't own the content, can you still own it if you buy it off the market? I guess you can. That was kind of unclear from what they were saying. But the deal is that you will not be able to make it yourself, and you will not be able to repair it, they did say, if you do not own the content. So keep that in mind, that even if you can have a friend gift you one, or you can buy it off the auction house, you won't be able to repair it. And somebody that owns the content will have to come over and repair it for you. So there is kind of a workaround. So it's not really the end of the world. There was a lot of people in the comments that were losing their mind about this, though, and I'm kind of frustrated to see that, because that just causes the developers not to want to interact with us, even though it's their job to let us know what's going on. It's still frustrating for them when people get in the comments and act like idiots. So just, kind of think about that before you open your trap. Some people would be really cool because they're trying hard, and we definitely don't want to discourage them. The Dune Man building piece set will be included in this DLC. And again, a lot of people were like, oh, great. So now I can't even get the build set unless I buy it. Well, developers got to eat too. And the game has to fund itself somehow. So this is not pay to win in any shape or form. It's basically just cosmetic, because you're building an item out of it that's not, for gameplay. It's just for looks. So it's not the end of the world if you don't get this, but I personally am going to have it because I want all the content in the game, because I love the game. You will get some additional content called the Lost Harvest. An airlifted harvester has been shot down. Its secret cargo could change everything. So this is a new adventure. And it kind of ties in with the Chome event that's going on right now, where you're seeing the Chome freighters getting shot down, and you're going and getting the crates for the contracts and stuff. That's kind of tied in with that, but it looked pretty neat. This is the actual super harvester laying on the ground here in two different pieces where it got shot down. I can't wait to go and explore that and see what that story's all about. We're going to get a new emote, and it's basically a guy pounding his hand and then going left or right, telling people where to put a thumper down at. Just kind of neat. Some weapon skins. We get a new sword skin and some others, some gun skins and stuff like that. We're going to get 2 new armor skins, and I guess these are kind of referred to as the Dune Man armor set. So girl and guy, it's kind of neat. I like the look of the visor on the helmet. It's really, really cool. We'll get some new base decorations, another hologram of the tread wheel, and then it looks like some Dune Man assembly type, looking things that decorate your base. So that's really cool. We're going to get 3 new Imperial testing stations. So some different layouts will be cool because we've kind of got the old ones memorized by now, and they're getting a little long in the tooth, so some new ones will be interesting to explore. And then, that's pretty much the content in the DLC. I will say in the Dune Man building set, I thought it was really cool. This item right here is kind of like a garage door. And whenever it raises in segments, kind of, and it was really neat. I liked the way that did. I am going to look forward into utilizing some of those. I think that was super cool. So the Dune Man building set looks interesting. I can't wait to play around with that. So all in all, it was a pretty good developer live stream. I was very thankful that they did it. It was nice to see them interacting again and telling us some stuff. Uh, I guess Oleandris is known for wearing his fuzzy socks. That was kind of weird, but whatever. Uh, so yeah, this guy had a lot to say about the story. Nils, he's kind of a very interesting character. He has a lot of hands in the pie as far as developing the story. It was hard for him, like I said, to actually talk too much about it because they did not want to spoil the story. So he kind of had his hands tied for a little bit, but there was quite a few little interesting bits of information that came from him. So, all in all, I would suggest you watch it and enjoy it. There are 2 different versions on YouTube now because the first version they upload had like 16 minutes at the start where it said coming soon. And I guess a lot of people were complaining about that. So they went ahead and trimmed that down and put a second link on YouTube that had that removed. The overall time for the live stream came in right under an hour. Um, and I would tell you some big reveals and all kinds of interesting stuff that happened in the live stream. I would like to break that news, but there just really wasn't nothing in there that we didn't already know. So if you keep up with the news and you're wondering, should you spend an hour watching this? I mean, it's personal preference. It was okay. They're kind of awkward a little bit in sections, so it was kind of a little weird, and there wasn't really any big reveals. So, it's up to you, but I would watch it, but it's up to you. It's kind of a opinion type thing. So thanks for watching my content about Dune Awakening. I really appreciate you. If you found this video interesting or entertaining, think about giving me a like and a subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It would help me grow and it would help push my content out to a wider audience, and that would be awesome. So I'll talk to you later about another video about Dune Awakening coming soon. Peace. Have a good day.